Hello everybody, we are here with your Cerberus support guide here for Season 8. We're going to be starting off, you've got options here of either getting Sentinel's Gift or War Flag. War Flag is more aggressive, Sentinel's Gift is more passive. Both are very viable. Looking at my team, we have a pretty aggressive team, so I'm going to get the War Flag for our composition. With my War Flag, I'm going to get tier 1 boots, and I'm going to get 3 of each potion, health, and multi, and I'm also going to get myself a shell. Supports right now are starting over at the purple buff, so we're going to clear those 2 small harpies. Small harpies? What are they, centaurs over here? Got to get rid of them, and then we're going to leave the big buff for our Anher. Anher is going to be walking at us. They're going to be coming over from the red buff, which is where the ADC starts. At level 1, we are going to get our Ghastly Breath. This is also standardly the ability that we are going to level up first. Although if you were super confident with your Paralyzing Spit, I think there's an argument to be made for leveling up the 1 all the way to max. But the 2 is typically the one that you are going to want to do. So we're going to get rid of those small side Arby's. I'm going to pop a little health potion. We're going to get this as low as we can so we can start to transition ourselves right over into the lane and try to not miss as many creeps as possible. So it looks like we missed 1 melee creep. That's fine. Depending on how good your clear is on support, you'll be able to miss less of those. It looks like they have got a level 2 Woojer. That's okay. I'm just going to start W-king at this Capri very aggressively. I'm going to try to hit him with the stun right off the bat, and we're going to be able to get the first blood immediately. So if you take too long, a great example right there, that Capri took too long to get to lane. The lane was already mostly cleared, and so he actually didn't get the level 2. Not getting the level 2 right now will cost you your life every single time. Every single lane, particularly the duo lane, is extremely aggressive. So we got our 1 there, level 2. Our 1 is our stun when we hit those 3 things, but you don't even need to hit the stun in order to get a significant amount of damage off for it. For those that don't know what Warrior's Flag does, Warrior's Flag is the aggressive starter item right now for supports. So you're going to see this on characters like Ares a lot of the times, Cerberus, anybody, assassin supports, warrior supports, you'll see it pop up pretty often. What it's going to do is it's going to give you some magical or physical power depending on what you're rocking. It's going to give you health and MP5, and then every time you get an assist for a minion, it's going to restore 6 health and mana to all allies within the area. But most importantly, up to 10 times this is going to stack and give you 1% movement speed per stack and 2% attack speed. So you can give out up to 20% attack speed to your ADC and 10% movement speed, which just allows you to completely gas pedal at people. Hit that Capri with my stun. Now I'm hitting it with the slows. I'm going to jump in right here. We're getting a little bit greedy. And I'm going to stick by Anher to make sure he doesn't get too cut out by the Woojer. Continually making sure that we are stacking up our 1 so we can hit that stun. Now, with the Warrior's Blessing, you will find yourself not nearly as tanky / sustainable than if you went the Sentinel's Gift, which is basically the equivalent of Guardian's Blessing from last season. Holy Anher diving in, Batman. That's okay. I'm actually going to jump over to the purple buff. Oh, and I think Anher's actually going to be plenty fine here. We should be able to steal their purple as well. So if you're not confident in playing aggressive, or if you're just playing a passive support, like a Geb, even a Capri, whatever, the Sentinel's Gift is a fine choice. We're going to be leveling up our 2 all the way to max like we mentioned. We're going to get our ulti whenever we can. The ultimate is going to give this damage increase. You can also level up your 2 and then your 1 because the 1 increases the stun duration. That is also viable. So depending on your exact playstyle and how the game is going, for Cerberus, you should probably mess with both of them. Honestly, oh, baby, I'm not going to be able to get away from that attach here, but that's okay. But you can level the 2 and then the 1 to max, and then you ulti, then your 3, or you can do 2 ulti, 1 3. So this game, you know what? Let's do the 2 1-shot this game. So we're gonna get our ultimate at level 5. I'm gonna grab a couple of wards to make sure those are out. I'm gonna go back to lane, get that level 5, and then I'm gonna start rotating around the map. So I'm gonna level up my 2 to max whenever I can. I'll get that 1 point of my ulti, then I'm gonna level my 1 to max, and then finally my 3. So that'll be 2 1 4 3 on that leveling order. On Cerberus, of course, your 1 basically doesn't do diddly squat unless you've got your 3 heads of Cerberus built up. So make sure that you are getting those constantly built up. You can either auto attack 3 times in a row to get that built up. Oh, I'm gonna be able to grab both of them right there with that ulti. Hui doesn't have a jump up. That was a meditation from the Capri, actually gonna keep him alive. Very interesting. So you can either auto attack 3 times in a row. Keep in mind, if you start your auto attack chain and then stop your auto attack chain, it actually won't count. You need to attack individually with all 3 heads of Cerberus. Or you can simply just use your 2, and that will build up your stacks, so that way you get the actual stun effect from your 1. Otherwise, you're just gonna send out one little limpy boy off of your 1, so you basically don't want to use it unless you've got that passive all the way built up from paralyzing spit. Unless it's gonna get like a last hit or something, but that's pretty rare. I'm just gonna go right in on this fight. I'm gonna slow her down with my 2. Unfortunately, there's also a Ratatasker here, so I'm gonna hit him with the stun. I'm probably gonna die here. Looks like Rat's just gonna ulti for me, so there's nothing I'm gonna be able to do about that. He actually goes for the Morrigan instead of me. I was a guaranteed kill. The Morgan was not, but now the Ratatasker dashes down, so I'm gonna start hitting him with this 2 and the 1, and we're gonna be able to pick up the kill right there. It can be tempting to go from the mid laner and not to support, but that was actually a bit of a misplay. So now I'm gonna go right into a Stone of Binding. Stone of Binding is gonna give us some penetration, and it's also just a very stat efficient item for the early game. I find that stat efficient early items are really important right now because of how snowball the game is. Oftentimes getting the lead in the first 5-10 minutes of the game can basically determine the entire outcome of the match. For Cerberus 2, you're gonna note that in the middle of this cone, there's like a little double area. That's where you're really trying to hit people with your 2. If you hit them outside of that area, you'll see they still take damage, but it's not going to be nearly as much, and you're not gonna get the effects that you're looking for from this ability. So make sure that whatever your main target is, you've got them in the middle of those cones. Anybody on those outside effects will still get hit a little bit, so it's nice just for the generic AoE. But you really want them to be right in the middle on that big old laser beam. Your standard combination on Cerberus is going to be 2 to build up your passive, and then 1 for the stun. After that 1 stun, if you have your ultimate up, you can go ahead and use the ulti then. But if you already have your passive built up from earlier like I did, I can jump right in there and just use my 1 to quickly get the kill. I was unsure if Freya had her ultimate up or not, so I wanted to utilize the burst damage from my 1. So here at level 8, I'm putting a point into my 1 because that is going to increase the damage and the stun duration from this ability. It gets up to a 1.8 second stun, which is kind of a ridiculously long stun. And it can actually hit multiple people, although I admit it is pretty hard to hit this ability in general, and hitting it on multiple people tends to be more luck than actual skill for them to kind of line up for it. Then use my jump to get away right here. Try to keep myself outside of that Freya ulti as long as I can, but once her ultimate is down, I'm actually a little bit free to walk back in here. I think Freya is going to be looking for me, so I'm going to ulti and try to get everybody here. Oh my goodness, unfortunately. What did I just get killed by? I must have got killed actually by... I have no idea. Oh, it must have been the Rising Dawn Bleed or something. That was crazy. We're going to be able to finish up that Stone of Binding. I got Seed for so long. That was weird. Anyway, we're gonna buy a Sentry Ward as well. As support, our job is basically this season to be putting out wards where our team isn't. So you're gonna see they've already got the gold ward out. They've got a defensive ward here. We're 11-3. We're having a pretty good aggressive plays right now, so I'm going to actually put out some aggressive wards to make sure we've got that deep vision. They've also got their Ratatasker, who is doing these nice global ults on us, so having a little bit of deeper vision might give us, oh my goodness, might actually give us some more time to see that they're coming. So I'm going to throw down a regular ward over here on the red buff. And I'm also going to try to get a ward over here at his back right harpies. This is going to let me know what side of the map that Ratatasker is on. And knowing what side of the map he's on is going to give our solo laner, our duo lane, a lot of presence around the map, because they're going to be able to play up and utilize that lead more, knowing that they're not going to get ganked. Speaking of utilizing our lead, we're diving into their speed buff right now. This is pretty risky, but I do have my shell up. I was gonna go for the ulti on this, but now I'm just gonna try to follow up with the one. The second that Ratatasker comes down, see if I can't body block a little bit for this Nezha, just to try to keep him alive, and I am gonna be able to do that. Hopefully me and Nezha can start backing immediately to try to get out of here, and it looks like we're gonna be able to. So if you want to go a Gauntlet of Thebes, I would say now is the time to do it. I am personally not a huge fan of Gauntlet of Thebes right now. I don't find it to be online really in time. So I tend right now to go right into the Sovereignty. So looking at the composition, they've got 1, 2, 3 physical characters plus 2 magical characters. One of those magicals is the support though, and one of those magicals is a Freya, who is quite far behind. So I don't have to worry about building anything for anti-magical damage right now. A Stone of Binding is going to be plenty for me moving into the future, so that will not be a focal point of my build this game. Do keep in mind right now, I want to mention anti-heal in general. This team does not have really any healing that I need to be concerned about, but you should always keep items like Pestilence, Contagion, Divine Ruin in mind. Brawlers, all those anti-heal items, they have been nerfed, but healing is still very strong right now. And so if you see Guan Yu, who is really popular right now, make sure you are getting that anti-heal, preferably by your third item. Chin up, buddy. Another thing that you can see I'm doing a lot right now is I am going around and I am getting farm by myself. Sorry. There is so much farm in the game. Out of mana. There's no way that everybody on your team, your jungler, your ADC, your mid, will be able to get to all that farm in time. So there's nothing wrong with taking farm for yourself. I see a lot of supports right now falling behind because they're always waiting to split XP with one of their teammates. Waiting to split XP all the time right now is not necessarily the play. If you've got people all over the map getting farm and stealing farm, then you actually can be running around and you kind of end up a little bit like a double jungle. Not necessarily, like, you're still going to be building tanky and you're still going to be peeling and stuff, but you can actually go around and you can start securing a lot of buffs. So don't be afraid going around doing a little back harvey, doing a little oracles, especially on a character like Cerberus, like Ymir, these more damaged characters. They can get away with that a lot. For our second active this game, we are going to get Shell. Shell is really good against auto attackers. Freya and Hui are gonna have a hard time moving into the Shell. Once we get it ranked up, we get those block stacks. And in general, it is still one of the best actives in the game. And then of course, we've got our Blink. Our Blink is gonna help us get set up for the initiations this game. Our team is medium tanky. We've got a tanky support and we've got a tanky solo laner. So what I'm going to be looking to do in these team fights is I'm going to try to blink in on Cerberus. After I blink in, I'm going to be going for my ultimate to try to force out as many beads, as many CC immune ultimates as I can. And then after that, I'm going to try to use my 3 to jump back out of there if I'm in trouble, and to start peeling for the backline. If I haven't used my 1 and my 2 at that point, then I've got a slow and a stun potential to peel for my Morrigan and her this game. If you don't have your blink up, you can of course use your jump to get yourself in on those fights. But do keep in mind, if you jump in for the fight, then you've kind of committed everything. You've risked it for the biscuit, and you will not have a quick way out. So I blinked in on this fight, so I can actually just sit here and tank this, and then jump right out, and I'm gonna be totally fine. This is why we like blink. I would say Shell, Blink, probably the two most common support actives right now. So I'm gonna start working on an item, Talisman of Energy. I'm not getting Talisman of Energy because of the magical defenses. I'm actually getting it because of the passive. This passive stacks extraordinarily well with War Flag. So Talisman of Energy gonna give us movement speed and attack speed. Well, our War Flag is giving us movement speed and attack speed. So those do stack together, meaning that between those two items, once we get this ranked up into War Banner, we're gonna be able to give out 30% movement speed. I'm gonna pop my shell right here immediately to try to keep my boys alive. I'm gonna throw down my 2 on this Kepri to slow him down, waiting for this guy to come back down so I can hit him with the 1. That's a good Kepri ult though, but he is gonna be stunned at the very end, so he's not gonna be able to get away. Now my job is to get in front of Morgan, make sure she does not get killed by this Ratatasker or this Huyi. I'm gonna try to put my body between her and the Huyi, who is trying to auto attack her. Nezha is going ham right now. I'm putting myself between the Huyi, so those auto attacks are hitting me. I couldn't get the tower aggro off of my Nezha, but I can get those auto attacks. Now I see that Bellona back here is gonna need some help, so I'm gonna throw down my 2. I'm gonna get interrupted out of immediately waiting for him to jump so I can hit him with the stun. I'm gonna jump in and follow up with the ultimate. Throw these all back towards my team, and we're gonna be able to get a perfect Bellona follow-up, and we're gonna be able to grab a little wipe right there. Back into the War Flag and the Talisman of Energy. You get 30% movement speed when these items are fully stacked, and you get 60% attack speed. 30% movement speed and 60% attack speed from these 2 items, as long as you've got those max stacks going. Now we need to get out of here. The second we get this Phoenix, we got to go ahead and back it up, and we're gonna run through the jungle, get as much as we can. I'm gonna leave back some aggressive wards. So I'm gonna throw down a ward over here because we're getting ready for Fire Giant. So I'm gonna put a ward here so I can see them come in from this side, and I'm gonna put a ward over here so I can see them come in from this side. This way, unless they're coming all the way in through mid lane behind us, or if they're coming in through solo lane where we have minions, I'll have complete vision on them no matter where they come in. Now we do need to be careful, back up and spend our gold. You don't have to get Talisman of Energy this early. If you wanted to get more physical defense here, you absolutely could, just to deal with their more physical damage heavy comp. But in general, you're gonna find that they have a lot more magic damage. They might have a more traditional mage, and you're gonna have to start worrying about it right about this time. But regardless, Talisman of Energy is just such a good item. It still gives you 300 HP plus that passive. And once we get our level 17, remember that support starter items you can rank up at level 17 compared to every other class, which has to wait until level 20. So right now I'm level 15. I'm actually going to start saving my gold because I want to have 1,500 gold to be able to rank up my War Flag as soon as humanly possible. So instead of on my next back, maybe getting a tier 1, tier 2 item, maybe ranking up a relic, I'm actually not gonna spend any money at all until I can back and get my full War Flag. So you wanna start saving that money about a level and a half before you actually start needing the item. That way you don't hit the level and then you don't have any gold at all in your pocket. So I'm gonna run over here. I'm gonna go immediately for the Huyi, and once again position my body in between my Anhurt and this Huyi, waiting for the Kepri to root so I can blink over it. But there's actually a Ratatasker back here, so I need to once again peel back and peel for my boy. Huyi is still my target with all of my CC. There's a Kakalin here. I'm gonna keep walking back at that Huyi. But now I need to chill back on my Anhurt. My goal is to stand in front of him and let him free cast as much as humanly possible. I've still got my shell up. We got to be careful about getting pulled into this tower though. So I'm going to try to stun the Kepri. Unfortunately, we mistime our abilities together. I get pulled. That is okay. My Anher has jumped in. He's a little bit wild. I'm going to pop the shell for him because he is tanking that tower, but our team is rotating over to help us, and we should be able to grab that kill on Cucullin. And now we've got a bunch of creeps underneath the tower that we can work with to grab ourselves another Phoenix. Now I'm pretty low, but they've actually got lengthy respawn times. Respawn times right now are really long, starting very early. So going for this Titan is a little bit risky because it's still a little bit early, but not that early. The average game length right now, about 20 to 25 minutes. But I think this is actually the right call from the team to go ahead, back it up, grab this tier 2 tower, and then continue and go to the fire giant. But your game is liable to end at that 20-minute marker. I've got a sentry ward for this. Whoa, 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 Smite. Whoa, Besser. They've got a ward on it. Let's get rid of it. And I am not going to tank the fire giant, but I am going to stick around for my team. Too squishy right now to tank the fire. Only got 800 HP left. For good matchups for our boy Cerberus. Over in the duo lane, Cerberus likes to go against people that don't tend to have CC immune ultimates. So Khepri and Woojer are actually perfect targets for Cerberus. Anybody that doesn't have a CC immune ulti is gonna have to use their beads in order to immune your stun slash ulti. But if they have to use your beads to stop your stun, then you can hit them for free with your ulti. If they do have a built-in CC immune ultimate, somebody like an Anher, it's a little bit harder to be throwing them back with your ultimate. So that's just in general as well. That's outside of the laning phase. In the laning phase, if you can go against somebody that does not have a getaway skill, or excuse me, that does not have a CC immune ultimate, that is the preference. Also, Cerberus does very, very good against healers by the nature of his passive. A lot of people do not think that healers are very good right now, and they would be flat out wrong in that assessment. So I need you to just know that that is not true. I'm gonna grab myself a Witchblade right now. Witchblade is an item that you should be keeping your mind on. What I should have done there is actually upgrade my war flag. I'm not gonna lie, I'm level 17. I didn't even realize. What I should have done is upgraded my war banner, but I totally forgot that I was level 17. And so I grabbed a Witchblade. That's fine, but that's what I should have done. Witchblade is an item that you should keep in mind at all times right now. It actually got buffed. So it gives physical protections now. 30 physical protections, 250 health, 10% cooldown, and 7% movement speed. So just from the raw stats, it's a great item. And it also reduces attack speed by 25%. So oftentimes right now, you're going to see 2 or 3 auto attackers on the enemy team, a lot of mannequins, and this will help fight into those players. They got a Bellona, slow down her attack speed is nice. They've got an Osiris, they've got a Freya, they've got a Woojer. It doesn't really matter. It's always going to be nice. I'm going to jump in and try to ulti this Cucullin afterwards. Not going to be able to get in range. That's a good jump from the Khepri in order to get out of this. So Cerberus also does very well into the healers, the Hells, the Aphrodites, the Chang'as, the Gwent of the world, because of his passive reducing that healing. Between your passive and an aura item like Contagion or Pestilence, you're already reducing half of their healing, which is pretty awesome. Titans right now are extremely squishy. Even without all 3 Phoenixes down, you'll find that Titans with 2 Phoenixes and 2 T2s up are still just ridiculously squishy. And so as long as you've got a couple of people near the Titan, you're basically going to be able to put it down every single time. So finishing up that build, we would have, of course, ranked up our war flag, which I should have done on my previous back that I forgot to do. Honestly, most of your games aren't going to go long enough to get a speed potion. I think I've played for, gosh, a week and a half, and I've had 1 game that I actually got a speed potion online. But if you were to get a speed pot online and get rid of your boots, something like a Mantle of Discord, something like a Spirit Robe, anything that gives percent mitigations like the Onis at the end of the game is always a good option. Or of course, even at the end of this game, maybe I see that the Freya had a Bancroft's Typhons build and she's healing a ton. Maybe I end up going that Contagion, that Pestilence in order to bring some anti-heal against her, guys. And that is our Cerberus support guide.